everyone, welcome back to the My Favorite Things YouTube channel. I'm Karolyn and I'm stopping by today to share a process video for a project that I created using the Loads of Joy stamp set and pairing it with the Launch Party Dynamics to make the train interactive. I love the surprise when you tug on the pull tab and Santa greets you with his famous ho ho ho. I can't wait to show you how fun and easy this was to create. I started with a 4" by 5 1/4" panel of smooth white cardstock and the Snowy Sky pattern paper from the Very Merry 6x6 paper pack. I'll adhere those two panels together with my tape runner adhesive. I also die cut some staggered snowdrifts using the Stitch Snowdrifts Dynamics. And for the sake of everyone's mental health, I stamped, colored, and die cut the images from the Loads of Joy stamp set off camera. I wasn't 100% positive how I was going to make my project work successfully, so I learned a few things along the way. And you get the benefit of learning from my mistakes. Once I have the two panels adhered together, I'll adhere the tallest of the snowdrifts panels, again using my tape runner adhesive. I use the longest die from the Spin and Slide Channels Dynamics to create a channel in the main panel. The Launch Party Dynamics comes with a channel die, but I wasn't sure it was long enough, so I chose to use the longer channel die just to be safe. I die cut the rest of the pieces of the Launch Party Dynamics off camera. I die cut 2 pull tabs from Summer Splash cardstock because I wanted to make sure it was good and sturdy. I die cut the pull tab a 3rd time from the same Snowy Sky pattern paper that we used earlier for the main panel. I'll adhere all 3 layers with my tape runner adhesive. I need 2 slider elements to make my mechanism work, and I'm adhering 1/4" double-sided tape to both sides of each element. One of the slider elements will be used to keep the pull tab inside the channel, and the other will act as a stopper to keep my interactive pieces from moving too far when I pull on the pull tab. I die cut the Launch Party slider track and gasket from acetate, and I'm attaching the end of the slider track to the pull tab using a tiny brad through the provided hole. Then I need to align the assembled pull tab with the channel on the main panel, and I want to make sure that the pull tab extends about 1/4 inch from the right side of the panel. Once it's in position, I'll secure the pull tab in place with a piece of washi tape. Then I'll slide the slider track up so that the end of the track opening sits just above the top of the pull tab edge. I'll mark the end of that track opening with my pencil, and I'll use a long reach 1/8" hole punch. If you don't have an 1/8" hole punch, the Launch Party Dynamics comes with a 1/8" hole die, or you could use a paper piercing tool. I flip the panel over to the back, and I'll remove the liner paper from one of the slider elements. I'll adhere it through the slider channel to the back of the pull tab. I'll remove the other liner paper and secure the slider element in place with a 1/2" circle cap. I die cut what I call the collar or pull tab wrap from printer paper using the die from the Launch Party Dynamics. I'll fold it on the provided score lines and I'll secure the ends together with my liquid glue pen. I'll add more liquid glue to the back of the collar, I'll slide it onto the end of the pull tab, and once in place, I'll secure it to the main panel. I know I've mentioned this before in my other interactive videos, but this is my favorite and most efficient way of keeping the pull tab aligned as the mechanism is being activated. It's super simple and frankly works the best in my opinion. It's a little hard to see in the video, but I die cut the Launch Party gasket from acetate, and I'll use this to help keep the brad inside the track as the mechanism is activated. I place it on top of the slider track at the end of the track opening so that the hole in the gasket and the track opening are aligned. Then I'll insert a brad through the holes and bend the prongs on the back of the main panel. I die cut a 3rd snowdrift using the Stitch Snowdrifts Dynamics, and this is where I decided to stamp my sentiment. I've inked up one of the sentiments from the Loads of Joy stamp set using Black Licorice Hybrid ink. And since this mechanism is somewhat bulky, I want to minimize the bulk where I can. So I'll adhere the shorter of the snowdrifts to the other snowdrift using tape runner adhesive. I'll use these snowdrifts to hide the mechanism behind the scenes. I've added 2 layers of foam squares to the back of the snowdrifts and to the bottom edge of the image panel, in places where it won't interfere with the movement of the mechanism, but will still stabilize the assembled elements. Once I've removed the liner paper from the foam squares, I can attach the assembled snowdrifts to the main panel. And now that the main portions of my card are assembled, I can tug on the pull tab to make sure it all works. Now I can start building my scene. As mentioned before, I stamped, colored, and die cut several of the images from the Loads of Joy stamp set. I'm adhering Santa to the bottom snowdrift using a thin 3D foam square. and then I'll adhere that adorable penguin to the panel just above the sentiment with another thin 3D foam square. I trimmed a 2" by 1/2" piece of acetate so that I can attach my snowman train to the pull tab. But here's where I realized that it was going to be hard to do that with those lower snowdrifts attached to the main panel. So I snipped off the foam squares with my scissors to give me better access to the pull tab. Then I adhered some 1/4" double-sided tape to one end of the acetate strip, removed the liner paper, and adhered it to the end of the pull tab closest to the brad, sliding it underneath the acetate slider track piece. By doing this, the snowman train has limited movement when I pull on the pull tab, which is what I was trying to achieve. Now I'm attaching the snowman train to that piece of acetate with 2 layers of foam squares, and I'll do another test run with the pull tab. Everything seems to be working as planned, for now. I wanted Santa to have a voice, so I did a bit of stamp surgery on one of the sentiments from the Biddy Holiday Sentiment stamp set, and I stamped the word ho 3 times onto some smooth white cardstock and used one of the word bubble dies from the Peekaboo Wheel Dynamics. I've adhered the word bubble to the acetate slider track so that it sits just above Santa's head. However, this is when one of my unplanned mistakes happened. It bugs me when elements of an interactive card are supposed to be hidden, but aren't once things are assembled. So I'm adhering the stamped trees from the Loads of Joy stamp set onto the snowdrifts with my liquid glue pen so that they cover up the speech bubble. Problem solved. This is a perfect example of how you just make it work when you run up against adversity. I patted myself on the back when I realized that I had those spare images on hand. And now I can use my scissors to trim off the excess acetate strip behind the snowman train. But when I tug on the pull tab, I realize that my snowman train gets caught up in the trees. So I removed the snowman train, rubbed off the foam squares, adhered a single foam square to the acetate, and re-adhered the snowman train to the acetate strip so that the wheels of the train sit just below the snowdrift line. This will allow the train to move forward without interfering with any of the other elements. And now, when I pull on the pull tab, everything is working like a dream. And how stinking cute is that speech bubble above Santa's head? It just cracks me up. I used my scissors to trim off the excess acetate slider track behind the speech bubble. And now that I can see how far I need to pull the pull tab to activate the mechanism, I can adhere the second slider element to the back of the pull tab. I'll remove the liner paper from the slider element, adhere it through the track so that it's placed just to the right of the end of the channel, and then I'll cap it off with another 1/2" circle. Then I adhered 1 layer of foam squares to the back of the assembled image panel, making sure not to place any adhesive in places where it'll interfere with the mechanism, and I'm adhering it to an A2 horizontal top fold card base made from poppy cardstock. And you can see that when I tug on the pull tab, the snowman train slides smoothly towards Santa, and Santa shouts out his famous greeting. I love taking an older mechanism and applying it to new product. This turned out exactly as I had hoped. And that's it for me today. I hope I've inspired you to pull out some new stamps and see how you can make them interactive with the Launch Party Dynamics. Be sure and subscribe to the MFT YouTube channel for all of the creative goodies that we share here on a regular basis. Thanks for watching and have a great day.